I'm so excited. Like whenever, okay, pretty much how I felt about this episode is, as I'm watching this, all I can think is, please let this go beyond one episode. Please let's see more of this woman, whoever I forget her name. It's like Antonia or something like that. Please let's see more of her because she was just the perfect villain to kind of end out this season. This is the 11th season, episode 21, Devil's Backbone. And honestly, whenever I found out that whatever's going on involves her and it's going to lead into the season finale, which I find it interesting that it's like they're lessening the amount of episodes every season. Like they've had 24 for a long time. Then season 10 had 23, and this season has 22. I find that kind of curious. Maybe it's they're losing the ratings, so now they're lessening or shortening the seasons. Maybe. But anyway, whenever I saw that she's going to be in the season finale 2 weeks from now, and it involves her, it revolves around her, whatever's going on, I got so excited. I turned into Smeagol for a second. I was like, yes, precious. Yes, my precious. And I kind of scared myself a little bit. But I mean, it's perfect. Because it was the perfect setup for her character. To have this case involving her, because whoever is doing this idolizes her. It was somebody from her past. That's a genius move. And then to have her be the main point of next week as well, to have her be involved with whatever's going on. I can hardly tell from the previews what exactly is happening. I see Hotch's like, there's something with the recording of his voice, and they said that he got drugged by something, and I don't know. Whatever's going on though, it looks freaking crazy and intense. And apparently Jack is coming back. We have not seen anything of Jack in the past couple seasons. I don't think. I don't think he's been involved at all. So whatever's going on, it's going to be crazy intense, and Antonia is right in the middle of it. I love that choice because just throughout this entire episode, they were setting her up perfectly as just this psychopath that is clearly very smart. I've seen this setup before where we have, one member from the team goes and questions her, another member from the team goes and questions her, another member, and they do kind of like a little lineup type thing. I've seen that before, but it was done so well here because it was a different experience with every member. Before when they've done it, it felt like this person was the same person every time, whoever they were questioning before. Whenever they did this, it felt like they were still talking to the same people. It's just, you have one person responds this way to Hotch, they respond this way to JJ, they respond this way to Reed. With Antonia, it felt like it was a different person every time when they were trying to talk to her. With JJ, it was almost like she was buddy-buddy with her. With Hotch, she didn't even speak to him. With Reed, it was almost like a therapist trying to console him, trying to figure out about him. With Tara, it was kind of like not a mentor, but, somebody who tries to talk to her a bit condescending. With Rossi, it was pretty much just mocking tone. I love the fact that she changed with each one of them. She had a different way to talk to each one of them to kind of get her way and not reveal anything to them specifically. It was very well done. And she, for my opinion, she is setting up to be a really good final villain for this season and quite possibly lead into the 12th season as well. They haven't renewed for the 12th season because they don't do it till the end of... Based on what I've seen of the past renewals of seasons, they normally don't do it until like the last episode. Officially renew it, where it's official on IMDb and all that stuff. So there likely will be a 12th season. It feels like they're setting up for a 12th season a bit. There's still a few interesting stories to sort of explore with these characters. Here's the thing, though, and this is, I've pretty much given my spiel on this episode, and just Antonia was a great choice for this episode. Great villain. The guy in the background is kind of interesting as well, but The main focus of this one was her and her interactions with the team. And we even get a few team building or character building moments with the team. With Spencer talking to her about Morgan, with Tara telling the story of not her but somebody close to her. She's talking to JJ about why don't you get respect, that type of stuff. So she was the main focus of this episode, and it was great. And the stuff with the team kind of revolved around her as well. I've talked before about how one of the good things that this show does, whenever it's doing it, it's a good episode for me, is whenever they sort of focus on the team a bit more and less on the serial killer in that case. They managed to do it both in this. But what I'm going to say about the show, especially going on into the 12th season, they need to have a main villain. I know that sounds weird because it's a crime show and every week is a different serial killer. I get that, but whenever the show was at its highest, in fact, you think about some of the other shows that have kind of dropped off, Bones namely, when the shows were at their peak is whenever they had a main villain in the background. With Bones, it was Christopher Plante. With Criminal Minds, it was George Foyet, the Reaper. And even after that, they still had some very interesting villains going on in the background. There was the Replicator, the one that killed what's her face? I can't remember her name now. It was the one woman that felt like she was always the bureaucrat of the office. Like everything she did was to kind of up her position and make herself look better. But the Replicator killed her. And so he was kind of the big villain for that season. Last season didn't really have a big villain. They had like this organization that were on the web that were buying and selling these kidnapped girls. That was kind of they showed it in the first episode and then kind of talked about it a little bit later, and then that's how it ended. This season we had the assassins, and I thought, ooh, this could be something that just goes throughout the entire season, and then they cut it off halfway through. And honestly, it's still been interesting with the Morgan stuff, but it kind of lost my interest after we still had something involving the assassins with Morgan, but at that point it felt like the assassins were done, and that was what really got me interested at the beginning of the season. They need to have a George Foyet again. They need to have somebody that is just in the background, like this lady possibly. She seems a bit old to be kind of the big villain. She's got like this really bad ulcer to where she can barely walk on her foot. So maybe not her, but she has a son or daughter that Hotch revealed at the end of this episode. Maybe have them be the next big villain. Maybe have them be extremely intelligent and a serial killer and hard to catch. Do something like that. Get our attention back. Give us something really gripping. Because, not that there haven't been good moments in the season. I mean, there have. But overall, though, it's been kind of hit and miss on every other episode. There have been some that, oh yeah, there was good stuff with the team this episode. Or, oh yeah, the serial killer this episode was very interesting. Something I haven't seen before on the show. But it's been hit and miss. Aside from, the very first episode, the episode after the mid-season finale with the assassins, and then the 2 episodes involving Derek Morgan. The rest of the episodes have been, that was pretty good, or, that was forgettable. They need to bring it back. They really do, because I want, obviously probably won't last too much longer, maybe a couple more seasons after this, because there's only so much you can do as far as serial killers go. But I would like them to end on a high note. I would like them to introduce this villain that can just take up the last couple seasons and just be the background villain. Somebody that is constantly just posing threats. Somebody who maybe starts to throw wrenches into their cases where they're trying to solve this one case, and all of a sudden something happens with this main villain going on to where some of the team needs to go check that out. And so now we're working with half the team on the case for that episode while the other half is looking. Do something interesting. Do something different. I want to see that. They need to do something. So anyway, that's my little rant about the future of this show and where I want to see it go. let me know what you think down in the comments below. Obviously, let me know what you thought of this episode as well, but if you would like to see them do something else, let me know what you'd like to see them do. Or maybe you disagree and think that this show needs to end soon. Tell me that too, and I'll disagree with you, but we can discuss it. So, leave a like and subscribe for more Criminal Minds, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the season finale. Peace out.